when the production actually takes off, when we start making money.
When we can finally throw them hundreds everywhere.
What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, I have like two cameras, like one
The
facing
side
you,
shot?
Yeah, like one facing you. One
That's the
facing-
thing, dude. Is like no one can see this side of my nose. It's too big. They're gonna be.
Dude, no one can see my nose. Period. It's too small.
What's up, guys? Praise the Lord. It's Brother Chach with another podcast for the Apostolos, the only podcast where you're gonna find Jesus Christ in pretty much every conversation that we have.
Amen.
And this is my cousin.
Eli, what's up? How you guys doing?
Hyped to have my cousin here. And as you can see, we have like really great times together. And I'm just excited to have him here to vent to each other today. But there's a lot that we're both going through, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
And honestly, just being with this guy is able to like kind of like be able to mask some of those things over. You know what I mean? Because it's not like anything goes away, but it's cool to get away for it like for a little bit.
Yeah, just like the quitas, just forget about some problems and you just have a good time and then go back to reality.
And just go right back. Yeah, dude. So basically, Elias we've been like this,
dude.
Like this since we're little. We have
26
pictures.
years.
Yeah, we have pictures of like us being little kids and like overalls together, and we're still wear overalls.
Dude, we gotta retake those pictures.
We do.
In parentheses.
We both have overalls.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we need to post that picture. We need to post the purple overall photo, and then take the new one, and then take the new one. But I love having my cousin Elias here, just so that you guys can see that there's different sides to a lot of relationships that we have. You know what I mean? And we basically, I love having Elias here because it's that joy factor. You know what I mean? That we get out of life. You know what I mean? And it's easy. I love being with Elias because it's easy. You know what I mean? I don't have to feel like
you don't gotta force anything. It's just it's just natural, I guess, being with you.
And then like our heads are in the same place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's funny. No, I say that to a lot of people. I'm like, oh, my cousin, like Chach, yeah, like low key, like we're the same person in a way, but we're
connected.
We do some things different, but for the most part, it's like, oh, what the heck? That's me.
Definitely. And on that subject, since we're on the subject of doing things alike, I became single about 3.5 years ago. So Elias decided,
nah.
just to copy his older cousin.
I was like, you know what?
It looks so
we
good
gotta
over there.
I gotta get a piece of that actually.
So Elias decided to join that rink. How you feeling, man?
Como un copión.
Yes.
Nah, man, I feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that's the thing is like there's so many sides to being single.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of us we imagine singleness like in Christmas time. And that you see you're already the emotions is like, oh man, like this is horrible. People are like ice skating. Everything's in twos for some reason. You know what I mean?
What's up with that number, dude?
Yeah, dude. Like you go to Applebee's and they have like 2 for everything. It's like, hey, what about the 1 for everything? You know what I mean? Like, where the discounts?
The 1 for.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. It's like there's 2 sides because you think about summertime single.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, dude, I could go with the boys. We go to the beach. We can do whatever. We can take trips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the sky's the limit. So, what's the truth about being single? Like, what's the real side of it that like people really see and don't see at the same time?
Ooh, man. I mean, there's a lot of different factors in being single. I mean, dude, I don't know. Honestly, right now,
there's a lot of
it's just really just finding who you are and just trying to love yourself first of all. That's like
that's hard.
That's like where you want to be, you know.
Right.
Especially after so long of after a while of not being single and you're finally single again, you're just like, okay.
Because you were what, like
for a good while.
It was like 5, 6 ish.
Yeah, for a good while.
Yeah, this is a while. For me, mine was like a little, you know what I mean? And I was over here crying really bad. You know what I mean? It's really tough. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's tough to break that like cycle and to get back into it and stuff like that. But what are the things that you're doing now that try to like reverse that whole thing of kind of being like,
man, dude, that's tough. Honestly, like I'm doing a lot of things. I try not to just keep my mind I try to keep my mind occupied.
Yeah,
you know? And,
definitely.
Thank God I went back to work, and that's a nice thing to have.
Yeah,
and
work definitely helps.
Work helps, you know. You're just bending, the crap out of pipe. And nah, pero another thing is like being able to spend time with your family. I see it now, and it's like it's really nice, and it's stuff that I can't take for granted. It's like
exactly
you gotta appreciate it,
Yeah,
and being able to spend time with your real friends and stuff.
And that's the plus side. You start to see like how much time it's occupied, having a significant other, you know what I mean? It's great, but at the same time, it's like, man, this takes a lot of effort, man. Like this takes a lot out of me, out of family time and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of like one of the things. It's kind of like, another responsibility of having. And that's what I think a lot of people fail to realize before even getting into a relationship is like, how much time is this going to consume? You know what I mean? And that's the thing is like, if you have a job or career or school and stuff like that, like, bro, like,
I don't think anybody really thinks about it too much. They're not thinking about, it's going to be. It's just like, hey, dude, like, all of a sudden you're spending time with Chach all the time, and then boom, like, man, I haven't seen Chach in like 7 months.
What's super cool is that we were so close. We're still close. That even then we both were in relationships, we understood. And I think that's also like another side of relationships is like if you have really close friends or family, you also got to understand like, hey man, like he's got to put in time over there. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is like a lot of people get really bitter or really sour and they're like, hey man, you're not hanging out with me anymore. You know what I mean? And like what's going on? To an extent, I understand that. Like where the guy like completely just goes ghost and all. You know what I mean? You don't see him anymore.
That's not good.
But on the other coin of that, you know what I mean? You also have to understand like, hey man, like if you were in my shoes right now, asking for every Saturday night off is like, that's suicide. Like that ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? No. And so I think people fail to realize like, hey, like this is gonna take a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah. Give the guys some slack.
Give some guys some slack.
Pero, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, man. And so, like, what are you doing right now kind of just, like, to make the most of, like, your situation right now? Like, what is it that you'd like to do now that you weren't able to do before?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can do now that I haven't been able to do before. Oh, man.
I could order 2 burritos and eat both.
Dude, I can't even close. I can't. Never mind. Nah, yeah, man. It's different, and it's kind of cool, just being again, like it does suck not having a somebody to be with. Pero there's a time in the season, there's a time for everything, and eventually it's gonna come back, and then one day you're gonna have kids, you're gonna have a wife and stuff, and then these are gonna be the good old days where you were single, and what did you do with that time? And like I always tell Elias, like there's times in construction where you sit, and there's times like you're off for a month or 2, and Elias, I remember he always goes and he's like, man, dude, like I'm really worried, like I don't know, man, like when am I gonna go back to work, and when am I gonna start working again? And I'm telling you, I'm like, bro, like, bro, in 2 months when you're working and you're in the hot sun, like you're gonna remember that you're at home chilling for 2 weeks, like 2 months. You're like, you're gonna remember, and
and miss those days. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Actually.
Yeah. Like we have enough time to do a podcast on a Wednesday night, you know what I mean? And that's something that's like
would have never happened before.
Yeah. Would have never happened before for any of us, because we'd have to be on the phone for another 2.5 hours or something. You know what I mean? And those are the things that we fail to see trying to go into a relationship and things like that, it's an impact. It's an impact, man. And it really does take a lot of effort, takes a lot of time, whether it's the right relationship, whether it's the wrong relationship. It's going to take time and effort, man. And that's the thing is, I feel like what my brother has taught me and my dad has taught me is like, look, your body can only, your mind can only take so much of getting it wrong. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, dude, I'm so done. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, pick right. You know what I mean? Because it's devastating each time.
I mean, yeah. And you kind of know if it's right. Oh, man. You know why he's laughing, guys? Because
we both knew.
Because we both knew, but we decided to.
And that's the thing is, like, at the same time, I feel like it's good to let those type of things out, because I think a lot of people are finding themselves there.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we both know. You know what I mean? You know within a couple of weeks or even moments that someone's probably not really compatible. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I don't know, man. You do. I think now I'm not the same man I was months ago. You know, I'm not the same man anymore. And that's actually it's opened up my mind, and I do tend to see things a little bit differently, and I'm more open-minded, and that's definitely true, man. I mean, now thinking about it, it's like, dude,
oh yeah,
you definitely know. Within a short amount of time. It doesn't take years, to know, is this the right person for me?
Exactly. And it's not so much like finding this perfect person where you're just like, you know what I mean, but you're finding this person that, like, it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, that you just feel like you've known them for a very long time. And they just kind of, I think one of the main things that I'm looking for is someone that makes me feel like family. And it sounds weird right now, but I love being with my family.
Yeah.
And it's effortless. You know what I mean? Just being able to just be with them and be yourself. I think that's something that's really, really sought after. So you find that person, you go for that. You know what I mean? Not this like super perfect and fits all the expectations or whatever. It's whoever makes you feel like you're there. You know what I mean?
Big time.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you kind of glance over as you're kind of like, you know what I mean?
But it's, again, I mean, we're young, man. I mean, maybe not as young as we used to be, but we're still young, and there's still so much time. And it's definitely been a learning process. And again, you've learned a lot from your past. I've learned a lot from mine. And it's definitely things that we'll take into our next relationship. That's the cool thing about it. It's like, now I got all this information that I wish I had years ago, but I can use this to have a better future. Like, I can be a better man for that girl that comes. You can be a better man for that girl in our future. And honestly, it's I'm kind of excited, man. I mean, it is a. Ahorita que sí estamos, single, it's not the coolest thing, and it does suck sometimes, being alone, pero
it's awesome.
It's awesome at the same time.
It's awesome, man. Because, like, the decisions you make affect you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to stay today, like, I'm going to stay today. That doesn't affect anyone else's plans or decisions or anything else. You know what I mean? If I'm having a bad week, I have a bad week.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, it doesn't affect anyone else. And if they're having a bad week, it's just them having a bad week. You know what I mean? And it only affects them. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. I love having these conversations with my cousin a lot. These are the conversations that we do to just vent and offload and things like that. I, for one, think that as far as our past and our relationships go, is like, I feel like all of our relationships that we had, we started off as really good people. We obviously we wouldn't have gone out with them if they were not good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think my ex is a great person. You know what I mean? But I just think that we were two great people that had different outlooks on life. they wanted different things.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect, like us joking and stuff like that. I don't want to be like, oh, forget them or whatever.
No.
But the thing is, our characters were not aligned. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think you cannot overlook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially us coming from out of those relationships, going into the next one, we're like, okay, you know what I mean? Kind of a little more tentative on the thing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, let's really pay attention to the stuff that actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we need to like encourage other people to do, is to take the time. You know what I mean? Take the time, do your research.
This is definitely a process that you need to take your time. You don't want to rush.
Don't do that.
And be smart about it. You know, ask God for direction, and always pray. You know, the key thing in a relationship, I think, is putting Christ in the center.
Yes.
And, you know, put Christ in the center of everything, and
we'll put it down here. What God puts together, and let no man take apart. You know what I mean?
And that's honestly like, that's probably the best advice you're gonna get. You know, and I encourage you guys, if you are single, you know, just enjoy it.
Yes. And this is, again, like, what I really want to reiterate to people is, like, this isn't coming from two married men.
Nope.
You know what I mean? This is coming from two single men that are saying, guys, enjoy it. Because you're going to ask, hey, where do the good times go? They're right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're definitely right here. And the grass is greener where you water it. I love that. That's like one of my favorites. You know what I mean? We always think it's on the other side, but it's where you water it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in this season, you may be single. And that's okay. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But thank you guys for joining us. That's all the time that we had today. And I had fun. This was really fun.
Yeah.
This is really fun. Hopefully we can continue to have Elias on the show, on this podcast, because I like getting different aspects. People have different minds on things and stuff like that. And especially because we've gone through a lot of stuff that's very similar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man. And is there any...
I'm very grateful. No, thanks for having me, Josh. And yeah, man. I think todo va a salir bien. You know?
At the end of all this.
At the end of everything. And again, I encourage you guys. Thank you guys for supporting this podcast, and I encourage you guys to keep watching these. And they're really good. I've been watching them, man, in the mornings before we go to work, and I'm just like, I mean, some of these topics, man, they do hit home. And
yeah, man, and play them in the car, play them as you go, and that's basically what the whole idea is that you guys sit in the middle of this conversation and find yourself relating to it, and be able to find comfort that other people are going through the same thing that you are. But my desire is that God blesses you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. God bless.
Take care. God bless.